Yeah, it was my copy. 1 week.
That's what I have.
A week. Really?
That is what I have in my.
You. Girl. Is this where I'm supposed to sit?
No, it's just us.
Am I sitting here? You can sit wherever you want, no?
It says her name right there.
That's my name.
Yes, yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
I'm not the chair, so you didn't want. I'm Emma Venus.
Respond.
Emma Venus.
That's right.
Been a while.
Yes. Oh, because he's the chair of the building.
Huh?
But he has a chair for the building.
For the building? I thought it was the stuff. No. Oh, it's Mercury there.
He said it was gonna be here,
Who?
Mr. Martinez.
What is this?
Hold on, we're gonna get to that in a
Did
minute.
we get another one?
Yeah, we do. Well, you should
And
have
is
got,
this one?
no, actually, you know what, your packet's probably over there, because this is for the building.
But then this isn't mine. This is Mercury's. I already got one.
This one has the evaluation sheet on the finance.
Oh, I see.
No.
See what's coming? Let's see that one. This isn't. This
They only
is.
have the vote.
Yeah.
Is that?
So give me one of the packets.
If he comes there, we can use that.
She's for that. Oh. it's
Yeah,
fine.
she's in the finance. Well, she's on both.
So am I the only building?
No, yeah, you're.
No, no,
definitely
you're-
Are you in the
Well,
building
no,
too?
me and
Betty?
you.
Are you in the building?
Finance.
Yeah, she's
Okay,
just
fine.
finance.
It's on-
Esteban, no.
Hmm?
Esteban, no.
And Esteban is not coming.
Yeah, no.
He can't come today.
Yeah. No, I just texted him.
Okay.
Ready?
Yes, go.
All right, good afternoon, everybody. Today is Tuesday, October 17th, 2023. It is approximately 5:35 p.m. And I call the Laredo College District Building Committee and Finance and Audit Committee meeting to order. We'll go with roll call. We'll start with the Building Committee. Mercurio Martinez Jr., absent. Lupita Cepeda
President.
and Jorge Delgado, present. Esteban Rangel, absent. We'll move on to the Finance and Audit Committee meeting. Jorge Delgado, present. Esteban Rangel, absent. Karina Elizondo
Present.
and Tita Vela.
Here.
All right. We'll move on to agenda item number 3, approval for purchase of equipment for the Transportation Technology Department. Mr. Cesar Vela.
Good afternoon, Cesar Vela, Vice President of Finance Administration. For the record, board members, Dr. Ramirez. This first item, we are asking the board for board approval for the purchase of equipment for the Transportation Technology Department.
Mhm.
All right, 1 second, Mr. Vela.
Yes, sir.
Let the record reflect that Mercurio Martinez Jr. is present.
Thank you.
Go ahead, Mr. Vela, sorry.
Yes, the equipment being requested is for the Transportation Technology Department. We are asking that the board approve the acquisition of equipment in the amount of $83,151.91. This equipment has been budgeted in the 2024 general operating budget. The purchase is being made from Industrial Education Solutions. It is under a TIPS contract number 220802. The equipment or being requested is the two cutaway hydraulic clutch system trainers. Again, this is for the automotive technology department. And also they're asking for an electric vehicle lab with textbooks. This will be the first lab that will be available for the automotive technology department as they transition over to electrical vehicles. Again, we have budgeted these two items in the 2024 budget. The amount is $83,151.91. And it is a TIPS contract, number 220802.
Any questions from any members of the committees?
This is our,
No.
if I may,
Chair recognizes Dr. Ramirez.
this is our first step towards expanding our automotive department into
Into
electric
the electric.
vehicles, which is the future of
Mhm.
automotive technology. And so our faculty have been working diligently at not only developing the curriculum, but also looking for the resources that are online to meet with our OER expansion so that students don't have to buy textbooks. So all of this is all happening simultaneously. But as we expand our program in automotives, this is definitely the wave of the future. And so we're hoping to continue to grow in that department.
Thank you, Dr. Ramirez. All right, we'll move on to agenda item number 4. As it reads the approval for purchase of computers for the Computer Sciences and Technology Department. Mr. Cesar Vela.
Yes, board members, we're asking for approval to purchase computer equipment in the amount of $114,106.88. And this is for one of the labs at the HR vocational building. The purchase is being made through Dell under DIR contract TSO 3763. The equipment consists of 53 Dell Precision 3660 tower computers with 106 24-inch monitors. I believe my understanding is that this is equipment for the cybersecurity lab that we have at the HR vocational building. This equipment is budgeted under the 2024 operating budget under Computer Sciences and Technology Department. Any questions?
Any questions from members of the committee?
No.
Thank you, Mr. Vela. We'll move on to agenda item number 5, approval of contract with Texas Multicam for annual recreational fields turf program. Mr. Cesar Vela.
Yes, this item, again, requesting approval from the board to approve the annual field maintenance agreement with Texas Multicam in the amount of $54,176. This is the annual maintenance program that is for the sports complex fields. We're talking about the softball, baseball field, and the 2 soccer fields here at the main campus. The soccer field at South Campus and baseball field at the South Campus. And again, this is the chemicals that are used to control weeds and making sure that the fields are fertilized. It's an annual program. The company comes by 4 times a year to maintain these fields. The total cost again is $54,176, and it is a by board contract number 705-23. Any questions?
Chair recognizes Ms. Elizondo.
Are they currently being used?
Yes, so these fields are right now recreational fields and for campus recs. So we're talking about the multi-purpose fields here at the main campus and the softball and baseball field here and soccer field and the baseball field. The baseball field at the South Campus, we do have an item that we need to address, and it's to replace and repair the fence, the outfield fence.
Is there any source of revenue that it's coming in?
So right now, actually, we just signed the agreement with the city of Laredo. So these parks or these fields will become part of their inventory. They will be available to the community in the afternoons and evenings. during the day, they'll be used for campus recs, activities.
Okay.
So there, as far as the revenue, we do have an agreement, the annual, fee, to the city is $7,000, per month for the utilization of the fields.
And
Wait.
currently, where are these funds going to come from?
So right now, these funds are budgeted in our, operating budget. We have it under the physical plant, contracted services.
Chair recognizes Dr. Ramirez.
In addition to the utilization by intramural sports and the rec facility, we're also, for example, the swimming pool, we offer swimming classes. And so when we're offering classes that students actually sign up for to take, the idea is to expand activity classes for students that could transfer to other institutions if they need to, or if they wanted to take it. And so how we incorporate that during the day, the city contract clearly stipulates that they cannot use it when we have it scheduled. So if we have a student event going on, if, for example, student government wants to have a tournament with student clubs and organizations, and we're going to use it on a Saturday for a fundraiser or for our student clubs, they cannot then use it on that particular Saturday. And so the idea is we're going to work together with their Parks and Recreation staff. And so there is an exchange of that. So just an FYI.
Thank you, Dr. Ramirez.
Mhm.
Chair recognizes Judge Mercurio Martinez.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I would like to ask, do you still use the field in the north part of the campus for baseball or softball?
So right now, Judge, there are, for intramurals,
Yes.
activities. Again, the design of the field is obviously for softball and baseball, but they can be utilized for, just, any other, activity there. So the idea again is to bring some of these, activities, like, intramural softball, co-ed softball, and utilize that field.
Kickball. We do kickball. There's a
Yes.
kickball league that's starting. I mean, so there are all kinds of things.
Thank you.
Nice. All right. Any other questions for members of the committee? All right. We'll move on to agenda item number 6, approval of acquisitions of serials and periodical services from EBSCO Information Services. Mr. Vela.
Yes, board members, this is the annual request, to approve an open purchase order in the amount of $153,126 for, college library materials. The contract is with EBCO Information Services. Some of the services and subscriptions that are included in this request are, database support, as well as the ebook availability, for the libraries, digital magazines and academic journals. Again, it is, to request the approval to go ahead and extend an open purchase order, up to $153,126 for materials that may be needed for the academic year for both the Fort McIntosh and South Campus libraries.
Any questions for members of the committees? All right. Thank you, Mr. Vela. We'll move on to agenda item number 7, approval to use the student activities fees. Excuse me. Approval to use the student activities fund balance to cover additional fiscal year 2024 expenditures. Mr. Vela.
Yes, board members, we are requesting, for approval to use, savings out of the, student activities fund balance, for the purchase of 2 utility vehicles for campus recreation and esports in the amount of $37,469. Also to purchase 2 utility vehicles for event services in the amount of $36,284. As well, we're asking, to use some of the funds to fund 90 student employee positions for the current academic year, fiscal year 2024. The total amount needed for the positions is $620,800. You have a breakdown of the, positions there by department. The total of 90 positions. Some are, again, going to Office of Student Life, new student orientation, campus rec, the, game room, esports, center for event services, as well as for other departments that are in need of student employees. The student activity fund balance as of August 31st, 2023 stands at 2,556,114. With the approval of these expenditures, we're looking to have a fund balance of 1,661,561. Any questions?
Any questions from members of the committee? Good. Thank you, Mr. Villa. We'll move on to agenda item number 8, evaluation of investment advisory services qualifications. Mr. Cesar Villa.
Yes, members of the board, my understanding is that we'll be deferring this item to the November meeting. We did issue out a request for qualifications for investment advisory services. We did receive 11 proposals. To allow for more time to complete a thorough review of the proposals, we are making the recommendation to defer the item to the November meeting.
Thank you, Mr. Villa. Any questions from members of the committee?
No.
All right. We'll move on to agenda item number 9, approval for the purchase of ViewSonic portable display for Media Center. Mr. Albert Chavez.
Good evening, members of the Building and Finance and Audit Committee. For the record, Albert Chavez, Associate Vice President for Information Technology. For this particular item, we're requesting approval to purchase a ViewSonic portable display for the Media Center Department. This particular item will be purchased through the reseller Absent using buy board contract 644-21. This particular item is a portable LED display that is 135 inches diagonal. It's a foldable screen that can be transported on the campus, and its purpose is for events. And the total cost for the item is $70,155 with 11 cents. This particular item was budgeted under the equipment line item for the FY24 budget for the Media Center Department.
135 inches.
135 inches, and it actually
Wow.
folds and it goes inside a case that you can transport it safely.
I've seen one before.
I gotta convince my wife to let me do it.
Seems like I've seen one before. I don't know.
So,
where, but
if
they're
I may,
huge.
the idea is that if we have external exhibits or
Yeah.
campus visits, that we may be able to actually use that to show campus videos and presentations wherever we go, instead of depending on someone else for that kind of support.
Yeah, wow.
So,
Wonderful.
Right,
That's nice.
another example, I mean, just an example that the case, and it could be used on the stage area.
Yeah.
It could be used at the chapel, in the stage area in the front. It's a portable display. We have had the need for a large display like that. This year we requested one, and hopefully in the following year, we could request a second one that will be part of the inventory at the South Campus.
Chair recognizes Ms. Elizondo.
Let's just make sure it has warranty.
Oh, yeah.
Because
Absolutely.
insurance or something. Or JD.
Good idea.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Chavez. We'll move on to agenda item number 10, approval for renewal of Cisco Security Enterprise Agreement. Mr. Albert Chavez.
For this particular item, we're requesting approval to renew our Cisco Security Enterprise Agreement. We currently have one in place that will expire at the end of the month. It was a 3-year agreement that was initially acquired in September 24 of 2020. This particular agreement will be procured through the reseller Computer Solutions using a DIR contract TSO 4167. In this particular agreement includes multiple security products that we have installed on our campus computers, on our perimeter firewall, and etc. So it's part of our security suite that we have in place. So we're requesting a renewal for an additional 3 years. The total cost for the 3-year contract is $659,262, and it will be divided into 3 yearly payments. $219,754 will be due annually for the next 3 years. This particular item is budgeted under fiscal year 24 IT department operating funds.
Did the price go up or down in comparisons to the previous?
The price did go slightly up, but it's guaranteed for the next 3 years.
Any questions from members of the committee? All
May
right.
I?
Yes, Chair recognizes.
This involves security in in what areas, Mr. Chavez?
This particular, for example, this particular item includes the security clients that we have on the workstations on campus, antivirus, anti-malware. Just to name one example, there's other pieces of software that are installed to monitor our network and so forth. So it's part of a security suite that we have.
They will be monitoring them.
Yes, this one, the products are installed and we monitor them here on campus.
Thank you.
There's another agenda item that may answer your other question about monitoring.
Okay, thank you.
All right, any other questions? All right, we'll move on to agenda item number 11, approval of Computer Solutions NetWatch Managed Services Agreement. Mr. Albert Chavez.
For this particular item, we're requesting approval for a 1-year managed services agreement through the company Computer Solutions. It's called NetWatch Agreement. And this particular item is through the company Computer Solutions. Will be procured using DIR contract DIR-CPO-5034. And it's in the cost of $61,992. And this particular item is also budgeted under the IT department. For this particular service, this company helps us monitor and maintain several of our infrastructure components of the campus, both the main and the south campus.
Do they have like a longer term agreement, or is this one done?
This
better
one is
term?
on a year-to-year. We have asked if there is a long-term agreement, and they don't offer that yet. I'll give you an example. From last year to this year, there was around a $10,000 increase. And that's because that particular company's service has been very popular and they've been having to grow their team. So they've been, the company's headquartered out of San Antonio, Texas.
Oh, cool.
And they've been growing that center. So unfortunately, because of that fact, or that they've been increasing the staff, which is in turn increasing the cost to the customers.
Are there any other services that are available that can compete with this price, or has that been looked at?
There are others, but this one is has been the most common. Several entities in the city of Laredo, the school districts, the university, the city are using this particular company. But we can definitely look at others, but this one's been the most common in this region.
Gotcha. Okay. Any questions from members of the committee? We'll move on to agenda item number 12, approval for Arctic Wolf Managed Detection and Response Services. Mr. Albert Chavez.
For this particular item, we're requesting approval for this particular service from the company Arctic Wolf, which they offer a managed detection and response service. For the reseller, again, it would be the company Computer Solutions out of San Antonio using a TIPS contract 230105. This is a new service. And in this particular service, this company offers detection and response services 24/7 for the college, which they will help us monitor our network, endpoints, cloud services that we have, along with other services. So in this particular service, we're actually going to be sending them some of the data from the other solutions, along with other data from workstations, servers, network devices. And if they ever detect any anomalies, these folks are working 24/7. They'll notify us and they'll help us isolate any incident that occurs on the campus.
Any questions from members of the committee?
Yes.
Chair recognizes Ms. Elizondo.
Thank you. Is it currently being done since you noted that it's a new service? So how are we monitoring it now?
So right now, this is being done in a limited basis in-house. So we're wanting to expand this to have 24/7, because I mean, the bad folks out there don't stop at 6 o'clock like we do. So this particular service will monitor our environment on a 24/7, 24/7 basis. And they will notify our staff immediately, and they will help us isolate in case there's any
How long is the
incident.
contract?
The contract is for 1 year, and my apologies, I forgot to mention the amount. It's $126,629.85. It is expensive, but the benefits that this program brings to the college, again, it's something that we're not able to do in a full-time basis in-house. So that's why we're requesting for this particular service. so they can assist us on a regular basis, even after hours, to monitor our network for any anomalies.
How are we doing it before?
Right now, we do it in-house.
Okay.
So with the small personnel that we have, which are wearing multiple hats, we do it in-house, but this will give us additional assistance. So because they have this company has also out of San Antonio. I mean, this company is a national company, but they do have regional centers. The one that's going to support Laredo College is out of San Antonio. And they have a team there, a pretty large team, that's monitoring logs and so forth from its customers, and they immediately notify you if they identify any anomalies. And they will help our team to isolate anything that is identified.
How many people would normally be within that team, within that group?
Locally or through the company?
No, here locally. Before
Locally,
this company.
we have a small team. We have 4 persons plus the manager.
So you keep saying small. Do you need more people?
Well, I mean, these 4 people, which are our network admins and server admins, they wear multiple hats, so they don't do a security role 100% of the time. So that's why typically in very large organizations that could afford a dedicated security team, they would have a team of 4 or maybe more that are just strictly looking at security logs and identifying any anomalies on the network of that organization.
Yeah, perfect. Any other questions?
Just, does
Chair recognizes
any,
Celizondo.
thank you, any other college similar to our size have that same program?
Yes, there's actually, this company does work with other colleges. I did not bring the name. I should have prepared for that. But yes, they do work with other colleges, universities, private sector and so forth. Actually, one of the case studies that they have is, I'm trying to remember the name of the casino that had a breach pretty recently. They're actually working with this company to do their security services. So they shared that information with us. So it's a pretty big company. If you research Arctic Wolf, it's actually one of the top companies right now in the security sector.
Any other questions? All right, thank you, Mr. Chavez. We'll move on to agenda item 13, construction update. Mr. Cesar Vela.
Cesar Vela, VP of Finance and Administration for the record. Board members, this next item is just to provide an update on both the deferred maintenance projects and the bond 3 phase projects. This is strictly on the funding side. For deferred maintenance projects, as you can see from the allocations, for 2021, we had an allocation from savings to the deferred funds. The deferred maintenance projects of 2.4 million. This was in 21. In 2022, we allocated an additional 1.8 million. And then for 23, we will be allocating approximately 1.7 million or almost 1.8 million. We are showing that even with these allocations, we may need an additional 435,000 to cover the more vocational roof repairs. So overall, the total allocations or the total amount that has been set aside for deferred maintenance projects totals $6,500,009.80. You can also see there on the listing, we have the listing of current projects. 3 of those projects have been completed. Those projects include the Cigarroa Science Complex shield water line upgrade, P4 renovation. This was a minor project, which is exterior paint and stucco repairs. And we did have the Maravillo Gymnasium plumbing repairs. Those projects total 252,609 for the shield water line upgrade at the Cigarroa Science, 12,248 for P4 renovations, and the plumbing work at the Maravillo Gymnasium was 109,272. Again, these projects were completed last fiscal year. We are showing the parking lot repair project still in progress. Just to give you an update, this project has been completed. So the total there will be 735,000 for the project parking lots here at the Fort McIntosh campus, I'm sorry. For the campus emergency phone repairs, that is in progress, and we have allocated $60,365 from the deferred maintenance projects. The South Campus chiller number 4 replacement. Currently, that project, the majority of it has been completed. The chiller is actually running. We do need to make a modification to the base of the chiller. So that is the only pending work on that project. The total for that project will be 347,610. We currently have the Arechica building. Out of the deferred maintenance project, we have allocated 2.8 million. We do have an additional 250,000 from the Moody Foundation. So the total budget amount for this project is 3,070,000. We are getting ready to start that project. First phase will be demolition. We're expecting for work to get started in November. We just have finalized the contracts. Mr. Muir has provided that the final contracts, they have been signed by Dr. Ramirez, and we're currently waiting for the signature from Line Decker Construction.
If I may,
Chair recognizes Dr. Ramirez.
so, Mr. Vela said demolition, we're not demolishing the Arechica building.
sorry.
That's not going down, but we are gonna do the interior, the exterior work will begin, but there are something, the foundation needs to start, all that, but interior, and the interior, there are things that will come down.
So-
But
so-
that demolition, I was like,
Not the complete building. So there are some phases where we're gonna demolish, for example, the outside concrete porches. Those need to be redone, so they'll be demolished. The interior in the inside of the building, we are replacing all the HVAC, so all that needs to go out. So all that phase will be the first phase, and then again the repairs and all the other construction items will come in after that. We did finish the Lerma Peña interior paint, and again, we do show that in progress, but that project has been completed. We had allocated 55,000. We are still pending to record the final invoices for that project. The PNC artwork, which we have the dedication tomorrow morning, that actual cost for that project was 78,000. The budget is only 20,000 because 58,000 will come from PNC. So when we look at the current projects, those total $4,412,505. Currently, the actual costs of the amounts that have been billed on those projects total $1,581,908. So we do have balances still remaining of 2.8 million. Now, we currently have some future projects that we will be addressing this year, and this is coming from the deferred maintenance projects. One is the Lopez Building roof repair and exterior remodeling. That is actually an item for board approval at the Wednesday meeting. The budget for that is $792,077.95. We also have the Moore facility flat roof surface renovations for $434,850. We have the Ruben Garcia Shield water line replacement, and that is also up for approval, and that is $214,555. The P14 exterior paint and porch renovations, we currently have a budget of $250,000 for that project, as well as for the P3435, also exterior paint and porch renovations of $250,000. We do have a small allocation that currently it has not been allocated to projects, and that is $146,021.38. This probably will go to the Arechica building to cover the increase on the soft costs. Again, because we did approve a contract of $3,070,000, we also need to account for the increase on the soft costs. So most likely the 146,000 will cover that additional cost. So when we look at the overall total of current and future projects, we see we have a budget of 6.5 million. Again, the current costs right now are $1,581,000. And we have a balance of 4,918,101. So again, the 6.5 million that are currently sitting in the deferred maintenance projects have all been allocated already to deferred maintenance projects. We do have a list of projects that we're still need to work on that we currently have no funding for. Two of those projects call for the demolition of the West Annex building, which is right behind this building. Also the dormitory P7 and P8, and you'll see an update on those on the construction update report. You'll see some pictures of those two buildings. We do need to address some items at the South Campus. Some fire panels need to be replaced. A fire line needs to be replaced also. We do have the South Campus parking lots that also need work. We're holding back on those until all the construction at the South Campus is completed. But that is a project that will need to be funded in the future through deferred maintenance. Again, this is the update on the deferred maintenance projects. Any questions on the allocations or the balances?
Chair recognizes Isabella.
On the Fort McIntosh parking lot repairs, which was 735,000. Was that just the parking lots here at
It
this
wa-
campus?
It was just the parking lots at the main campus. We had a total of 7 to 8 areas that got not completely resurfaced. There were some areas where we had to repatch some of the sections, but essentially we seal coated the parking lots. Obviously took care of all the cracks that were on those parking lots. And then, like I said, seal coated the parking lots and obviously restriped the parking lots.
Who repairs the streets, the potholes on the
So the
streets?
streets has been an ongoing question. The streets that are on campus belong to the school district, to the college.
City? Oh, the college?
Yes, so the city will not do any work inside campus. So those belong to us. We do know that with the recent rain that we had, we have some potholes that we need to address. And again, we'll be taking a look at those items through the physical plant repairs and alteration account. One idea that we've discussed is that possibly because of the traffic that we get on the main road, and I can't remember what the name of but it's the road that leads to the neighborhood back here on, we do have bus traffic, so in the future, we would like to concrete at least half of that, so that we can avoid these types of situations in the future.
And we have talked to the city
Yes.
We have approached the city, yes.
because my understanding was, and maybe Judge Martinez can remember, but I thought by giving them access to this particular area, the city was going to pave those streets. Because that was an agreement that was done when the bridge was made.
That was reached quite a number of years back.
Yeah.
That is correct.
Chair recognizes Dr. Ramirez.
We don't have that in writing.
No.
If that agreement was made, nobody has that in writing. So I don't know who made that agreement with the city. I approached the city. I spoke to Mr. John Orfila, who would be responsible for that. He actually did paint the bridge. They did clean up all the bridge area when we were starting school. I asked him about he fixed the bridge railing before school started. I asked him about the street. I asked him about the dividers in the street because the buses and the trailers that come through there actually have broken that center median. And he said, that's yours, that's not ours. And so, and it technically on paper, those streets belong to us. That's correct. But they have access and the people
Can we
who
close
live
it to the,
and the people who live in the neighborhood there actually use it. And many big trucks
Oh.
come through there and turn down that little street that goes in front of the police department. It does belong to, I mean, it does belong to us on paper. There are city streets, there are streets, but the utilization of the community is very, very high volume.
yes.
And so that's how a lot of people access the neighborhood when the trains are in the way. if it weren't for that access, they wouldn't be able to get to their homes. So,
Chair recognizes Judge Martinez.
I'd like to ask Mr. Vela, how do we stand on the outstanding bonds and when it comes to the funding?
Yes, and
And some of
actually,
the different projects that right now are being undertaken by the college.
Judge, actually, that's the second part of the update. I have the information here on your screen.
Oh, okay.
We have the facilities master plan phase 3 balances as of September 30th. Currently, the amount that's remaining at September 30th is 12,757,988. All of those funds are already allocated to projects, and you see a listing of the projects on your screen. We are currently working on the South Campus and audiovisual equipment upgrades. We are pending some work, and we should have that completed by the end of the year, is my understanding. We are also working on the cameras at the South Campus. One item there that's pending is just electrical work to be able to connect the cameras that are at the parking lots. Also, it's ongoing. And that project, the overall amount that was allocated for that project was 750,000 for, again, replacing all the cameras at the South Campus, security cameras at the South Campus. We did some work to the South Campus bell tower and metal roofs throughout South Campus, and that totaled 750,000. That project has been completed. We're currently addressing some warranty issues on that, on the bell tower. The truck driving range, that project has been completed. Again, that was the total was 1,041,425. We are just working on the dedication of the truck driving range, but all those items have been completed. The law enforcement training center, that's currently under progress. Work is ongoing. We have a budget of 2,413,821 for that project. The expansion to the digital shop, that project is budgeted at 5,849,346. That is ongoing right now. We did hit some delays. We had to, and we're still pending the relocation of one of the lines, electrical line, as well as data lines were on the path of the work, so we had to relocate some of those lines. The Lamar Bruni Vergara Environmental Center, that project is budgeted at 4.8 million. That's currently underway, phase 1, which is demolition. Building P14, which is the Imaginarium, the interior work has been completed. We did receive the certificate of occupancy from the city of Laredo. We do have one item for approval for this Wednesday, which is the exterior work to the building. So that project, right now, the total cost has been 864,591. The funds for this project are sitting on in phase 2. So currently, right now, if you look at the available balance, you'll show a negative balance of 864,000. We have 700,000 that needs to be transferred from phase 2, and then the 170,000 that is being covered by the Imaginarium. We did receive already half of that, which is the 85,000, and the other half will be once everything's completed. Again, the interior has been completed. We do have the COC already. People can start moving in and doing work on the inside. We now need to work on the outside of that building.
Mr. Vela,
Yes, sir.
with all of these different projects, and do we still have outstanding funds dealing with the outstanding bonds that were floated by the college?
So if you're asking for additional projects, no, sir, we pretty much have depleted the available balance. We've pretty much encumbered the funds to current projects that are currently ongoing. We do have, like I mentioned, 12.7 million that is available, but again, this is because the projects haven't been completed, not necessarily because we have available funding for additional projects.
I want to make sure that it will not impact our bond rating. And
No,
that's the
sir,
reason
no.
why, as you will know, bond rating plays a major role when we decide to float additional bonds for whatever project might be coming in. And obviously, the better bond rating that we have, the less interest the college will end up actually paying. So this, I know we do have quite a number of projects here. So we have to make sure that we do have the sufficient liquidity, so to speak,
Yes.
in order to handle these different projects that have yet to be completed.
Yeah, so again, we have the budgets and the allocations already set aside for these projects to address what's on the scope of work. We do have a small amount in contingency. Right now, about $1 million. But that $1 million most likely will go to one of the projects that we have on this list, which is the more vocational welding lab improvements. So for that project, we have about 789,000 allocated based on the work that is needed and based on discussions with the architect. That project is probably gonna be more closer to $1.5 million to $2 million. So we have $1 million right now available that we could put into this project if we needed to. But aside from that, all the funding pretty much accounted for. And it is all set into this project that you see here on the screen. As far as the bond rating, yes, actually, we have had 2 reviews this year. And we got an upgrade by one of the rating agencies. The other one actually just affirmed the current rating, but we did get an upgrade on the rating. So again, as far as impacting the ratings, no, we have all the projects accounted for, and the funds have already been allocated to these projects. So now the challenge would be if additional projects are needed, then obviously we don't have any additional funding to cover those using facilities master plan. So right now, everything we're working on is through the deferred maintenance. And so right now, the focus has been on making sure that all the roofs have been repaired and replaced if needed. HVAC, obviously making sure that the HVAC is up and operational.
We need to monitor these different constructions, because as you are very much aware, we've always been very fortunate that this institution has always had a very good bond rating. And what we need to do is we need to continue that bond rating, because you never know what we might end up having to do in the future. We continue to grow. There's, as we already see with these different projects, the campuses on both campuses, plus additional projects that are very much involved. So it is important that we monitor properly all of these, and with the observation that it will not have a negative impact on our bond rating.
Yes.
And that's really, that is very, very important to this institution, as I'm sure you're aware.
Yes, sir. And again, we do keep that in mind to make sure that we are prudent on the projects that we're working on, making sure that the budgets are workable, so that again, we maintain our current ratings. And like I said, possibly even if we have the opportunity to get an upgrade on all those ratings. But yes, we are very cognizant of the available funds and the needs of the institution. Some of these projects, when we first began with phase 1 and phase 2, for example, the LEAC and the VPA building, they're already reaching 13 years. So we're starting to see items that need to be addressed, and we're taking care of those items through deferred maintenance.
Right.
Because we do want to make sure that we minimize the impact if we have to go out and borrow additional funds. We don't want to borrow just to repair, address the maintenance issues, and that's why it was very important for the board to allow us to use that that 20% allocation from savings to address these projects.
Thank you.
Thank you. So, again, any questions on the balances, for the facilities master plan, please?
Any questions from members of the committee?
We're in the building committee now, right?
Yeah.
I think
No, we're still in
in
finance and audit.
Still in finance.
Yeah,
We're still in finance, okay.
Uh,
Do I need-
no, you're fine. With regards to some of the line items with regards to roof repairs, are those roof repairs, or let me ask this, with regards to the more vocational roof repairs, when was the last time the roof was repaired?
It's been
It's been a while,
a while. I want venture to say that that building is probably 20 years old already.
so not something we can file an insurance claim on?
No, this is not insurance. This wasn't storm related. It's
Okay.
more, it's needed.
Regular
We
wear and
did,
tear?
we did some work on the more building under phase one.
Mhm.
Unfortunately, the roof was not addressed. It was primarily the interior of the building and part of the lab areas in the back.
Okay. And same thing with the Lopez building?
The Lopez building, the same thing. Lopez building is similar to what we did to the Ruben Garcia.
Mhm.
Those buildings have a gutter system in the middle of the roof, and those went bad. So currently right now that the P1 building, which formerly was the Lopez building, we have a border patrol is leasing that facility. And so one of the issues that we have is every time we have a strong, well, not even strong rains, just rains that, we get the calls from them that the building is just leaking.
Gotcha.
That's a continuous problem.
Any other questions for members of the committee?
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Vela. All right, we'll continue on with agenda item number 14, construction update for the building committee, Mr. Homero Pais and Mr. Cesar Vela.
Good evening, board members. I'm on a Pais for the record. We're bringing you an update of all the construction projects as Mr. Cesar Vela was going over. We've refreshed our list of projects for phase 3 and deferred maintenance projects as well. Here's a new list of projects. The list has been revised. Those projects that have been completed have been removed off the list. So everything that you see here on the list is either currently ongoing or currently being worked on document wise, or in the planning stages to commence in the near future. So at the South Campus, we have the ongoing diesel and auto collision shop. We also have the protective service facility. Here at the main campus, we have the MFA HVAC replacement chill water line plant upgrade project. The P14 facility renovations, the Imaginarium. This is a structure that's going to be built by HDL Construction. We do have a scheduled meeting, pre-construction meeting this week with them, and they will probably commence work this coming week. We have the Ruben Garcia facility interior chill water replacement. The Lamar Bruni Vergara environmental renovation, currently under demolition phase. The Arechica facility interior and exterior renovation project. The Moore building courtyard coverage structure and welding shop improvements. And then also at the Moore building, we have the rooftop along with P1 rooftop and exterior improvements. The old facility recommended for demolitions are also on the list. We have the bakery, the West Annex, and P7 and 8.
And if I may clarify, sir, the bakery is not up for demolition.
Right, and I was going to mention that in my presentation that was probably still being thought about, that we would probably take it off the list. The guardhouse renovation project, the future Loyola College Veterans Center, the exterior paint and patio soffit improvement to P14 Imaginarium facility, and then the Loyola College camera surveillance and fiber optic project updates with Albert Chavez. So I bring you the good things, the projects, the photos of the different projects, that are going on right now. These are current, photographs, taken recently, just a few days ago, for the diesel auto collision. We are working on the diesel pad at this time. Some of the, concrete, that you see in the second photograph in the center up on the top, is some of the concrete for the pit that will be in on that one of the last, bays on the west end of the expansion. So a lot of rebar work going on this large pad. We will probably have this probably up and ready for concrete here within a week or two to go ahead and place concrete on it. The contractor has also picked up the steel on the auto collision side, and you can see some of the masonry work that is going up. Since this photographs were taken, there's probably about an additional 5 to 6 rows of block that have gone up since then. The protective service facility, some work going on in the basement. Photograph of the shooting range equipment that was dismantled, collected, inventoried, and relocated to the main campus and stored. We are currently looking for somebody that would be interested in buying this equipment. It does have a value to it. The second photograph is all the bagging of all the black pellets that were removed, the lead abatement that took place in the basement. And then you see some of the new work, ongoing work, which is the air duct for the basement and some electrical work, conduits being placed. The old HVAC yard, the old unit has already been removed. The supply ducts and the return ducts have been also removed from the site. At the far bottom, some of the demolition work that is taking place right now. 2 rooms that are going to be turned into one for lectures for the amount of students that they have, so they can be a little bit more comfortable in their instructional environment. Here at the MFA, this is an ongoing project, a rather large project. We have completed with the contractor, subcontractor, and the engineer. All of the new HVAC equipment has been placed and assembled and pretty much completed. We did have a recent inspection with the engineer, the contractor, and the subs last week. There were a few items that were pointed out, and those items have been worked on. There is additional work going on in the new chiller yard that will start up this week, already ongoing. We're going to go ahead and get the piers drilled and filled with concrete to receive the new chill water system for the expansion of the yard. This is the wood structure kind of shade covered for the dyno dig for the Imaginarium. This is being constructed by an outside construction company, HDL. As I mentioned, we do have a scheduled meeting, pre-construction meeting this week, and they will probably commence work on this site by next week. We did receive their bonds and their insurance documents for our file. The Ruben Garcia facility interior, if you recall, we just redid the interior paint, flooring, waxing, but we do have a concern with the existing chill water lines. Some of these photographs will show you some of the water leaks inside the building, some of the floor stains that come because of those leaks. So this line needs to be replaced. We do have a buy-board quote from Train in our hand at this time, and I think we'll get a little bit of information on one of the items that says I won't present to you. The Lamar Bruning Relegata, currently it's under demolition phase. We have about another 3 weeks of additional demolition before they're all said and done. There is some excavation going on for some of the new concrete pads in the new building that will be going up. But they are still in the demolition phase and cleaning up the facility. Yeah, the Chico facility, interior and exterior renovations, we're not demoing this building. There is, a lot of renovation work that needs to take place. We are replacing the concrete, aprons on the outside of the building. And also the second floor, wood structure that leads out to the balcony area. And then the inside will be completely redone. So we've asked the contractor to go ahead and start with selective demolition. So we can go ahead and commence work here in November. They do have their contract in hand right now. I checked today, but it was already signed. They will probably have it signed by tomorrow, so we can go ahead and get it picked up and dispersed to the copies to the different entities that we copy the contract. And this is all contingent on a pending building permit when we can actually start the renovation of the facility on the interior and the exterior.
Chair recognizes Judge Martinez.
Yes.
If, I know I'm being repetitive in this sense, but we must keep in mind that these buildings are historical buildings dealing with what was the original camp as a fort and a military base. So what it is important that we actually not only bring it up currently, but really provide and improve as much as we possibly can, particularly more so on the interior. The exterior may remain the same for that matter, but I think this is very much history in our community. And because of this campus, because of the military base, that's the reason why we now have this campus as a college.
Right.
And we do need to preserve its history and really look after these type of building structures that are very much prevalent within the campus. You were going to make some comments.
If I may, we did consult with the Historical Society, the National Historical Society, or the Texas Historical Society. They came, evaluated the property, and went ahead and gave us permission to begin construction. They did set some guidelines for us for the exterior. In the interior, we have permission to do what we need to do to fix it and make it usable for our students. This will turn into the advising center for this campus. And so we're very much in contact with because this is the national landmark on our campus.
And it is.
It's a registered national landmark.
Yes.
And so there are things we cannot do to this building. And so we cannot change the facade. We cannot change the exterior. We cannot, there's so many things we cannot do. However, they're cognizant that if we don't do something, it will fall apart. And so in an effort to preserve the facility, we've gone ahead and our architects have worked along the guidelines that were given to us, and therefore we're ready to proceed. Now, our hope is that, and I know that the city is waiting for us to submit documentation so they can then give us the building permits. I've been in touch with Mr. Hickle and Mr. Joe Valdez at the city, and they are just pending us the submission of documentation for them to review the documents and then get it back to us. So, yes, very much so. Absolutely. Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, so part of the process was meeting with the Texas Historical Group. We actually submitted the construction documents to them for formal approval and a blessing from them on the set of documents.
Now keep in mind, this is up for consideration for tomorrow's board meeting. Am I correct, Mr. Vela? So we have not finalized who's going to do this, right? Yet. So that's the plan. That's all the pre-work that's been done. And so until there's approval, we can't move forward.
Actually, for the Arechiga, the board already approved the contract. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes,
That's
Judge.
why I wasn't sure if we had or not. Yeah, okay.
So yeah, there's quite a bit of work, and actually on the interior, it's got a really beautiful, wooden floor covered up with carpet. Where we're pulling all the carpet off to redo the wooden floors, and almost bring it back to its original.
And we don't
condition.
really know what that's gonna cost.
So,
Yeah.
there is quite a bit of work.
Thank you.
At the Moore Building, we've had several meetings with Robert Sepulveda and his staff, and the end users from the welding shop. We currently have construction documents in progress. There was several schematics presented to us, and reviewed and marked up. And the architect had come back and showed them to us again. So now he's currently has released those schematic drawings to his mechanical, electrical, and plumbing and civil engineer and structural engineer to go ahead and start working their portion of the construction documents. So hopefully here in a couple of months, we should have a full set of documents where we can go ahead and get an actual price for that scope of work. The Moore Building and P1, previously known as the Lopez, the rooftop and exterior improvements. The upper left-hand corner is the actual Ruben Garcia, the finished product. A huge difference in condition and appearance wise, and we're pretty much duplicating the same scope of work for the P1 building to do the same thing. And really bring this building back to its life and give it some nicer appearance on our campus. At the far right-hand upper corner, we do have the rooftop of the Moore Building, which is a little bit more than 10,000 square feet that we need to repair. This roof has numerous leaks in it, and we do have some important labs and computer classrooms underneath it that we need to kind of protect. So we want to go ahead and try to get on this rooftop as well.
Is the Border Patrol still using some of this facility?
Yes, sir. They do use about half, and in some of their tactical courses that they do inside the building, they use the whole entire building on different days. But as Mr. Vela mentioned, when we get rains, it is a waterfall in there. We had it with the Ruben Garcia, the interior gutter or internal gutter that they have had rotted holes throughout, and when we would get rains, it would just pour into the building.
That bad?
So it was really in bad condition. So we want to go ahead and do that same improvement work on the P1 now.
When was the last time the roof was, I guess, touched?
Well, I've been here for 7 years. I don't know. I don't think we've ever touched it. And before then, I don't think they ever did anything to those roofs at all. We did find, MP1 kind of patch ups here and there. But with our weather here in Laredo with the heat, that material really doesn't last, and it's really not to prevent water penetrations on gutters.
And if I may, eventually, we're gonna have to get to the interior of P1 as well, just like we did in the Ruben Garcia, because even in the interior, there's a lot of work to be done.
You know,
And
that
it's
particular-
rented, so that's the other thing, since they are leasing it, we definitely need to.
Just as they, and I'm sure many of you are aware of it, but that particular building at one time was the city automotive repair facility. And that's where the city would actually repair all of their vehicles.
Yeah.
So actually, there's quite a bit of age, if I may call it that,
Okay.
within that structure.
Yes.
And I just want to say that as far as back as I can remember, it's always leaked.
Yeah.
Always.
Yes.
I mean, it's always from day one, from fixing it, it's just.
It just
I
has,
don't know what it is
it's a
about
bad design.
Is that
Having
what
that
it
internal
was?
gutter, you never try to keep water on your roof, and they just collect it in the middle of the building. And if that gutter system eventually gives out, rusts out, the water's inside your building.
Mhm.
You know, it's just a really poor design. But they used it for automotive repairs back in the
Yeah.
days, so it worked
So
out
it
for
would
them.
work for them.
Our use now, it doesn't work. So on the list also for demolition, as I do have the bakery on here, but as mentioned by Dr. Committe Ramirez, that building is off the list right now. But we do have P7 and 8 and the West Annex facilities that are being recommended for demolition. The architect is currently working on his final documentation, so we can go out for quotes to go ahead and have the service of demolition for each of these facilities. The old post guardhouse renovations, the future college veteran center. We had recently a meeting with the architect and the end users, or the people that would be working out of the facility. The architect right now is documenting the building for utilities and surrounding different utilities and the conditions of the building. And at this time, he's probably working on some schematics. We will come back to the table and sit down again, look at those schematics and mark them up till we get to a final agreement on the space distribution. We do need to put restrooms in this facility. It currently does not have any restrooms in it. So all of that is being thought about and put on paper right now.
Wow.
And then we're going back to P14, the Imaginarium. We have a really tight timeline. We did go out for pricing with different contractors. We do have one for you to present for approval. And these are some of the conditions right now in the P14. Nothing compared to the interior. The interior is totally redone. Came out beautiful on the inside. And we're ready to give it that same facelift on the outside. So there'll be some soffit repairs, balcony repairs, overhang repairs that are rotted out. The walking surface, the concrete walking surface will be cleaned up and repainted. So once they're done, we hope to go ahead and have something completed by December 23rd, because the Imaginarium is planning to occupy the facility in January of 2024. So we do have a tight timeline, and those dates were given as part of the pre-bid meeting with the different contractors that we met with.
Chair recognizes
Yes.
Ms. Cepeda.
Are we able to do it in-house?
No.
Not at all. Okay. Yes.
Yeah, we do have a new elevator in the facility. Like I mentioned, the inside came out really nice compared to how it was. It's, black and white. It's totally redone.
If I may, just a quick example, we painted the interior of that building ourselves. It took us about 6 months.
No.
We don't have the personnel to do that. We just don't.
Just ask.
And on my last slide, I think Albert Chavez will give you an update on one of the items coming up. He'll give you an update on the fiber optic and surveillance project that is currently ongoing. And that concludes my presentation. If you don't have any additional questions.
Any questions from members of the committee? All right, thank you, Mr.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Vice.
I know.
You got your work cut out.
All right, we'll move on to agenda item number 15, approval of Ruben Garcia building chill water line replacement. Mr. Cesar Vela.
Yes, good evening, board members. For the record, Cesar Vela, Vice President of Finance and Administration. As Homer in his presentation, he showed you a couple of pictures of the condition of the shield water line at the Ruben Garcia. This building, as you were informed, we did do a complete renovation both to the exterior and interior part of the building. We do have that issue with the shield water line where we have the leaks inside the building. We did go out and request a proposal from Train through a by board contract. And we did receive those numbers. So right now we're asking that the board approve the contract in the amount of $214,555 and that is to replace the complete shield water line inside the Ruben Garcia building. This will also include the replacement of some valves that lead into the building. Obviously removing all the ceiling grid and replacing that. Also removing the existing steel shield water line with all the insulation from the corridor area, which is the hallway. Disposal of all the material and then replacing the line with an 80 PVC pipe to match what is currently in the mechanical rooms. Again, the warranty on this work is 1 year parts and labor. It is being done through buy board contract number 631-20. The funding, as was mentioned earlier, it has already been allocated through the deferred maintenance funds. Again, this is work that is needed for this building. This will probably be phase one of a project because we have identified also some other areas that need addressing within the mechanical rooms. But that, as we look at future funding, that could be part of phase two or phase three. When we look at those, right now, the urgent need is for the replacement of that chill water line. Any questions on?
Any questions for members of the committee? All right. Thank you, Mr. Vela. All right, we'll move on to agenda item number 16, approval of P1, formerly Lopez Nursing Building, roof and exterior building repairs. Mr. Cesar Vela.
Yes, board members, again, we are asking for approval, and this is for work at the P1, which was formerly known as the Lopez Nursing Building. As was presented by Mr. Pais, this building is in need of doing roof repairs and also the exterior part of the building. The work that is being proposed is basically the work to match the Ruben Garcia exterior work. And that includes the replacement of the gutter on the roof, of repairing the complete roof of the P1 building, exterior paint, replacement of all the windows on the outs of that building, including some windows that were not replaced in the Ruben Garcia that were not in the scope. So we're going to go ahead and do that replacement so that we can match all the windows for those two buildings. The contract amount is for $792,077.95. The contractor is American Contracting and Roofing, which is the company that did the work for the Ruben Garcia. And the bid is under the TIPS contract number 20021-5196.
You mentioned that American Contracting did the work already for the Ruben Garcia?
Yes, so they were the ones that did the work for Ruben Garcia.
Any questions from members of the committee? All right, we'll move on to agenda item number 17, approval of P14 exterior building repairs. Mr. Cesar Vela.
Yes, board members, as Mr. Pais mentioned, we have completed the interior work for P14. This is currently the building that will be occupied by the Imaginarium. Their expected moving date is in late December, early January. So you saw some of the pictures of the exterior of the building. We do need to do some work to the porch areas as well as the paint on the outside. Some concrete repairs also on the porch areas. We went out and requested quotes via buy board or tips. We had three companies or three contractors that showed up for the walkthrough of the building. We received only two proposals. One from Linedecker Construction of Texas for $147,000. And one from American Contracting and Roofing for $180,000. The bids include a $10,000 owner contingency. We are recommending that the board approve a contract with Linedecker Construction in the amount of $147,000 for this work. This would be contingent, on buy board approval. currently Line Decker Construction has submitted all the information required to be a buy board vendor or contractor. And the only thing that's pending is for them to get an award by one of the institutions. So this would be their first contract under buy board. So as we will have the purchasing office follow with Line Decker Construction and buy board to make sure that we get all the documentation in place. So again, right now we're requesting the approval for us to proceed with Line Decker Construction of Texas in for the amount of $147,000 for this work. And again, the funds are coming from the deferred maintenance fund balance. We had originally projected that we were gonna need 250,000. The bids came way below that. So those additional funds will be relocated to another project.
There wasn't any other companies that bid?
Not for this particular one. Again, it was not a traditional request for proposals. It was more, we approached companies that had a buy board or TIPS contract. So locally here, we were able to identify those three companies again. Line Decker is still working on finalizing the contract. The pending, and our understanding is that they need a contract to be awarded for them so that they can get the official buy board contract number.
Are we doing anything to encourage other contractors out there to go through the tips and the buy board?
We have mentioned to several vendors, not just construction. Again, it is up to them to apply and go through the process. There is a process that they have to go through. And in some cases, there are fees that are charged by the cooperatives too. So they have to go through that process. But we do encourage that because again, from the standpoint of the institution, it does save some time sometimes when we have tight deadlines to meet. We use the cooperatives to comply with the procurement statutes, regulations.
Chair recognizes Ms. Cepeda.
Mr. Vela, is Line Decker Construction aware of the short fuse on this one?
Yes, as Mr.
And
Pais,
they're able to do it?
as Mr. Pais mentioned, they had the walkthrough. We had the walkthrough and that information was communicated to all three vendors that this actually needed to be completed by the end of December.
Fast.
So that might have been the reason why that third contractor did not submit a bid, because of the tight deadline.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? All right. We'll move on to agenda item number 18, approval of change order fiber optic infrastructure project, Mr. Albert Chavez.
Good evening, members of the Finance and Audit Committee and also the Construction Committee, sorry. For the record, Albert Chavez, Associate Vice President for Information Technology. For this particular item, we're requesting approval on a change order for the fiber infrastructure upgrade project. This particular project was approved on July 6, 2022. The original amount is $722,611. This was awarded to the vendor Computer Solutions under DIR contract, DIR GBR 4356/Gray Bar DIR TSO 4359. For this particular item, we request the change order amount is $42,506. For this particular project, the work began early this year. The vendor received this materials in March of 2023. They started the actual work for the project on April 2023. And throughout this time, they ran into certain situations where pole boxes were about 2 to 3 feet below ground. So for one example is the Eloy Garcia, probably for some remodeling, the pole box ended up being 2 to 3 feet underground, so they had to dig to uncover that box. They also encountered broken conduits that had to be repaired in order to continue the line, and that usually happens when dirt settles and or you have vehicles run over those conduits and they break. Also, as part of this change request, with the proposed demolition of the West Annex building, the plant building that we have here, by the parking lot, the fiber line actually runs, from the Martin building to the West Annex and then to the plant building. So with the demolition of that building, we need to reroute that fiber line on through a different path. So that's also part of this change order. Also in the, there is an old building that was a print shop. We do have some infrastructure that's running through that building. That building is vacant and I know there was some mold at some point, so we were asked to remove all of our infrastructure from there. So that, from that building, we go to the vehicle yard that we have in the south west side of the campus. So we also were requested to relocate that infrastructure out of that building. The subcontractor for this project is a local company by the name of Global Technologies. We had a meeting with them. After completing or getting approval on this change order, their firm date on completion is March 2024.
What was the original completion date?
We didn't have one. It was this particular project is hard to determine an exact date until they begin the work, because initially they come in and they do a survey. So they measure distances, but you don't know the condition of conduits and what you're gonna encounter. So there was not an original date provided. There was a mistake on the original contract that the reseller, Computer Solutions, they put a date of a month, which was not technically doable. So
Whose fault was that? Ours or theirs?
it was on their paper. So, I mean, the contract says 1 month, it is on the last page of the contract. And it's just something that was not technically doable. So Computer Solutions is the company that we issued the PO to, and they hired as a subcontractor Global Technologies out of Laredo, Texas.
Any questions from members of the committee? All right, thank you, Mr.
I
Chavez.
just have a quick
Thank you.
question on that fiber that you need to relocate. The fiber is ours?
Fiber's ours, yes.
Okay.
Yes, so everything that this project is covering is the infrastructure that we have in place, connecting all of our buildings to our network distribution hubs that we have on campus. So it's all of our fiber. And from the history that I received from some of the employees that have been here for some time, a lot of that fiber was laid out in the late 90s.
When it first came in.
Wonderful. Thank you, Mr. Chavez.
Thank you.
All right, that'll be it. Just for the record, although a quorum was present, no action was taken on any agenda items. And as for agenda item number 19, we are adjourned. Thank you, everybody.
Over.
Over.
We stand adjourned. Go tomorrow, they're gonna check me out for possibility of surgery we might have.